Hey guys, it's Targon here doing a Raid Shadow Legends video, and today we're going to talk about the upcoming fusion for Lonatharil. Um, so this is an interesting fusion. Apparently people are kind of split on this. I think some people are thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to be great. Other people, not so much. When I first looked at him, my thought was, meh. But that said, I've kind of been rethinking it as I've looked at him a little bit closer. I think that he may actually really be a very good champion, especially in the like more the mid game, and potentially for some end game teams, depending on who you have. Like he might be, you might be able to fit him into some end game teams. I think especially in Doom Tower. But so let's go ahead and talk about his kit. A1 decreases targets max HP. It's a single target. Decreases their max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. Places a shield buff equal to 10% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest health. So that's similar to, if you're familiar with Duchess, I think she kind of does that in that she attacks and then puts a shield on herself and the lowest health ally. So that right there is actually very useful. So even if this doesn't hit all that hard, that's really helpful in protecting your vulnerable champions. So, and I'm guessing this probably hits hard. I'm guessing this guy hits hard just because of the way his kit is designed. Um, if he's decreasing target's max HP by the damage, it would make sense that he'd probably smack a little bit. His A2, Flicker Barrier, attacks all enemies, places a shield buff on all allies for 3 turns, equal to 20% of this champion's max HP. If there are any dead allies, places a shield on all allies for 3 turns based on 30% of his max HP. This buff cannot be removed, stolen, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased by enemies or allies. Now, I'm not sure the way this is worded if that last part there is only if there's a dead ally. It might only be if there is a dead ally. Just based on where it is put, I would think if it was for both that they'd have like a separate paragraph, but I'm not sure. That might I would think it probably can't be removed regardless, but I'm not sure. I would hope so. I would hope so, because that would, if it can be removed, then his value goes down considerably. Ideally, you don't want to have champions dying, especially in late end game content. So you'd want to have him up, and then you've got so many things that are ripping shields off that having that non-removable shield is actually really, really helpful, similar to Brogni. Um, so that's kind of the one big question. So, 20% of his max HP is going to be good. 30% is going to be really good because he's an HP-based champion. You're going to be able to have huge shields up, especially if it's 30%. So if someone goes down, he's putting up a huge shield. Again, that's if somebody's going down, so it's kind of a, yeah. I kind of wish that this would just be 30% because I think that would kind of be like his one OP skill, make him definitely worth going after, but it's 20% normally, so plenty of other champions do a 20% HP shield, unless he's got really crazy base HP. And then his A3, Finest Hour, places a 30% increased crit damage on all allies for 2 turns, and then teams up with all allies to attack a single enemy. So this is worded all allies, right? So in Hydra, this is going to be pretty bonkers, especially I would hope he's able to actually select the enemy being attacked. So like I use Krila sometimes, and the downside with her is she attacks an enemy and then teams up and attacks a random enemy. So I'm thinking this one he can specify, all right, we're all attacking, say, this Hydra head, right? And then if you've got like, maybe you get like a head severed and everybody's got increased crit damage up, and then all 6 of your team just go in and slam on that, that's going to be some pretty huge damage. Or if you just want to take one of the heads down, if you can, like the Head of Mischief, this would be a great way to get rid of the Head of Mischief. Get decreased defense, get a weaken on there, and then, you know, have someone put a hex on, and then he can just go in with everybody else and pour on it. Head of Mischief might just go down if you hit hard enough there. And so that'll be this move. Actually, I kind of overlooked it when I was first looking at his kit. It's a 6-turn cooldown. I'm guessing it goes down to 4. Um, yeah, I'm guessing it's probably a 4-turn cooldown. But it's still going to be pretty good. And especially when you consider that you're probably going to be using him more in like Doom Tower and in Hydra. That's a lot of team members all attacking at once. It's going to be really good in Doom Tower too. Like when you get like the Siphi Rhodos waves, you get everybody can go in, take out Siphi, right? Because that way everybody's not going to be healing up. She's not going to be reviving people. If you can get her down, this is actually going to be really, really helpful. So his passive, Piercer, inflicts 20% more damage against targets under shield buffs. And he brings a 35% HP boost in Doom Tower battles. Which honestly isn't... I mean, 35% is very good. I think that's like the highest I've ever seen for HP, but there's plenty of other champions that have like a 33% in like all battles, I think. So, or at least 30. I think it goes up to 33. So, but so definitely he's going to be a Doom Tower champion. He's going to be a Hydra champion. Certainly versus Clan Boss, he brings a lot of help there, especially if you don't have an unkillable option. Having shield versus the Clan Boss helps tremendously just to minimize how much damage your champions are taking. And then when he's bringing the ally attack and increased crit damage as well, that's really helpful too. So overall, I think he's actually a really good champion. I don't think I'm going to go for him on my main account, especially because I just pulled shards for a guarantee champion. So move myself back down here. Yeah, so I just pulled for a guarantee champion. So I don't really have the shards right now, and I don't know. We'll see. And I think the way that this fusion is supposed to be set up, the way I understand it, is there's going to be 4 epic champions that you have to collect fragments for, and then you fuse the fragments, and then you level up the champions to fuse the legendary. So it'll be similar to so it's kind of a hybrid. So you got to go and you got to collect all the fragments, right? And then you've got to go in and you got to do your fusion. So you got to level all the fragment champions to level 50, ascend them, and then fuse them into the legendary. So that's typically a much tougher. If it's a typical fusion where you have your rare champions, it's easy to like pull one of those from ancient shards or sometimes even mystery shards, especially since you're going to be doing like a champion chase anyway. So my thought is this is actually going to be a little bit harder because you don't have that extra chance to get those rares. Now, maybe the way they set it up, and I'll maybe do a guide on it once they come out with like the schedule. If there's a epic champion that you can get during one of the events, then great. That makes this so much easier. Or no, you won't be getting an epic champion in the typical fusions. You get the epic champions sometimes in the events, but this would just be fragments. So depending on how many fragments there are, you might not really be able to skip anything, and that's really difficult because you have to collect all the fragments. You can't just say, well, I picked up the epic champion during champion training, so I can skip the rares on the summon rush and the ice golem tournament. I don't need those. I got the extra. So you're going to have to kind of grind out a lot more content to make this work. So for that reason, I'm not planning to go for it on my main account. I might go for it on my alt account because I don't really have very good options for shields right now. And I also don't have really a good ally attack champion on that account either. So probably for that account, it would really help. So depending on where you are in your account, this champion could actually be very, very helpful. On my main account, I already have Brogni. And so he's kind of got this similar thing where he puts the shield on that's equal to 30% of his max HP, and that can't be removed. Um, so, and he also does the block debuffs. Now that's only for 2 turns. So I believe that this guy, I'll pull the image back up. I think that, so his goes up for 3 turns. So if this is a 3-turn cooldown, then that's going to stay up. Again, if it stays as it can't be removed regardless of there being a dead ally or not, then that could be really, really helpful. And I have to say, when I did the Brogni fusion, it was brutal. It absolutely brutal. Because I was earlier on in my account, I didn't have just a ton of shards where I could pull. I wasn't hitting Ultra Nightmare at the time. I had actually only recently started hitting Nightmare, I think, for top chest. But Brogni completely changed my account. Obviously, he brings a little bit more in terms of like the block debuffs and stuff, but just having a shield buff that can't be removed is so, so helpful. You know, you're going up against like Madame Sirius or other champions that are stripping buffs off. Having an unremovable shield helps make sure that your team stays alive, and that comes in play a lot in Doom Tower. That comes in play a lot, say in Hydra, right? Because the head of mischief's trying to steal the shield. So we'll have to wait and see. I'll try and look and see if I can find more info. Maybe look at for yourself as well and see what other people are saying. Because his if this does only if it only has the non-removable status after an ally's dead, then his value kind of goes down. The ally attack's going to be pretty good though too. So anyways, that's pretty much it. I'll do another guide on kind of approaching the fusion once it's time for that to start, or once they release the schedule of events, just to hopefully help some of you guys pick them up. So if you're early or mid-game, I would say definitely try and do this. It will be difficult, so check and make sure you have the resources. I'll do another guide on making sure you have the resources once the schedule's out. But right now, go ahead and make sure you have enough potions. Make sure you have enough energy. I know we're coming into personal rewards CVC. If you want to go for this champion, I would say either skip that or go light. But if you want to, go ahead and just spend a ton of energy, you can, but you might not have the energy required to get this guy, because I think there's going to be a lot required to get him, because you got to level up all the other champions to fuse him. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think. Let me if some of you might be thinking, no, I'm at the end game and I think this guy's amazing. I would love to hear that. Again, I think really it's going to depend on where people are in terms of their account, because for me, like I said, I do have Kreela. I've got a few others that can. Actually, I don't have a whole lot of others that do ally attack. I think I got like one other epic. But certainly, Brogni's got shields. I got plenty of champions that do shields. I got Valkyrie doing shields. I got Brogni doing shields. So, the shield thing for me on my account right now is not huge. On my alt account, it is. So that's why on my alt, I'm going to go for it. I think on this one, I'm just going to give it a pass. So, yeah, let me know what you think. And hope that you guys are able to get him, especially if you think that he's going to be really helpful for you. I think he'll be great. Like I said, Doom Tower, Hydra. Potentially, if you're struggling with Spider for the level 20, Spider 20, he would make a great tank. So I did other videos on that. So and certainly in the faction wars, potentially clan boss. So, depending on where you are, he could be really, really helpful, potentially even game changing. Um, so it really just depends on where you're at and what other champions you have. All right. So hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time.